everyone, and welcome back to the OverMangaCast. My name is Sam, and welcome to the end of the year. New Year's, everybody!
Yay!
Yay!
It's 2025, come on! This is exciting.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yep. So you can tell by the title of this episode, it's time for our yearly wrap-up of the top 3 manga that we read this year. One for each host, so it actually totals out 12. It's going to be some overlap. Go listen to our previous year-end episodes of this, and you'll get the gist of it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, just as a bit of a preamble, anybody else feel like it was a bit tough picking the top favorites because the pickings felt a little bit slim?
Yeah, I have to say I have to agree with that.
I'm like, it's not so much that I think that we read a bunch of crap, it's that nothing really wowed me this year the way it some of the stuff that we've read has like wowed me in the past. Like I don't think I mean, I've got my top list, but I don't think like I've gotten as many. Like it wasn't. I had to choose between all of the like 10 I wanted to put on my list, like it has been in previous years.
I had the problem that when I was going through, everything I enjoyed was things I had submitted and already read it. I was like, wow, I've got great taste. What else is new?
Yeah, I wonder if there's a discrepancy between how many like recommended titles we did versus how many we had, suggested based on.
We got too many recommended titles. Our listeners have bad taste.
Both of you, shut up. We love our listeners when they recommend things. Do not blame the listeners. Wow, this is off to a great positive start. What a great,
It's a Christmas miracle.
What a great New Year's countdown we've got going.
I mean, jokes aside, I think most of my list is actually listener recommendations, as it turns out, but
we did have a lot of listener recommendations this year, and
we did.
If you're a listener and you agree that people weren't recommending good things,
you can fix that.
Right in. Go to OverMangaCast.com, suggest a little comment section down below, or if you really want, you can send an email to OverMangaCast@gmail.com. And that's weird. We don't normally do the plug in the beginning of the episode, but
it's been a weird year.
And if you want to thank us for a year of being your favorite podcast, you specifically, go ahead, give us a 5-star review.
And $5.
And
on the
give
Patreon
Jay $5.
Jay really needs this $5, guys.
It is critically important.
If she doesn't get this $5,
she'll die.
Yeah, the anime police are gonna come after
her. She's got to pay her anime parking ticket.
Also, confusingly, she only needs $5. So if multiple of you send her $5, you've actually killed her faster.
Ow!
That's why.
Oh no! Stop sending money in.
It's so cool.
We're gonna go round table. Give our number 3 pick, then our number 2 pick, then some honorable mentions, and then our number 1 pick. So I'll start us off. My number 3 pick for my favorite read this year was Orb on the Movements of the Earth.
Sam, that was also my number 3 pick.
Well, look at that. So yeah, that is. I in retrospect really appreciate Orb. Like in the moment, I'm like, yeah, this is good. This is quality. I'm enjoying it. It's got an interesting way of presenting its story. It's talking about some heavy topics that I'm interested in. It's got like a certain degree of like melodrama to it that keeps otherwise very dry or serious topics like flowing.
It's got that right level of that kind of middle school checkmate theist attitude to it that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, that too. That was a lot of fun. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what? I did enjoy that quite a lot. And like especially with the recent anime just taking the world by storm. That's proven very popular.
Also,
And been a good chance to reflect on it.
yeah, and I don't like talking about our podcast statistics. But as the producer, I really did like that Orb is our most downloaded episode. Very confusingly. I'm not sure why, but
Keep that energy up, guys.
it has legitimately 20% more downloads than like second highest. And
We
has
might
been
have
out.
been discovered by a cult.
Oh, that's
the
that was
cult
it.
of the heliocentrists.
No, it's those people who are always just Googling their orb.
Yep, that
Googling
is.
their orbs so they can ponder it.
Yep.
Yeah, in all honesty, hard agree with everything said by my co-hosts about Orb. I think the big thing that sort of ended up making me lukewarm on Orb is that the fact that it's definitely going to be a revolving door of characters, and characters are the thing I care about most in fiction. It's really good. It's super easy to recommend. It's a very interesting topic and just a solid story.
So yeah, that's the number 3 for Matt and I. Jay, how about you?
So, as no surprise, my third pick is Dandadan.
Hell yeah, Don Da Don. I've participated in exactly one episode as a host, and honestly, my half-remembered recollections from editing the episodes I wasn't on.
So, at the time of recording this, and I know I hate it when I do this, I have not watched the anime. But for those who read along with us, and for those who know, it is literally like a fever dream. And that's kind of just what you have to go with. There's plot, there's dynamic characters, and there's a bit of like spooky zaniness that I always appreciate as spooky gal. So, yeah, I love Dandadan. That was my third pick.
My favorite part about the Dandadan anime is that they got the theme song done by a group called Creepy Nuts. And never has the name of a group performing a theme song been so appropriate for the anime.
Yeah. They did
Yep.
great on the Mashal OP, so
Yeah, the Mashal OP slaps. Same band.
it is the same band. Glad to see that they're getting more work and pumping out more bangers.
Yeah, I
Don't know if I should be talking about pumping like that with Don Da Don, but
or bangers. Yeah, I've tried to catch up with Don. I've gotten through a couple of chapters, never enough to, like participate in the episodes. What I've seen of it, or what I've read of it, though, I like it. I get why it's a favorite of the podcast. I hope with all of the 1.5 million things that we read that someday I'll be able to catch up with everything. Don't hold your breath, folks.
indeed. But Jacob, what was your number 3 favorite?
For me, the number 3 this year was Ajin. It is one of the series that kind of like stuck out to me and kept me thinking for a long time. Again, just, going to what was said before, I feel like we had a lot of stuff that was like, it's like, yeah, that's good. But didn't really like, wow me and suck me in. But boy, Ajin, like the way it tells its story, the creepiness of it, the genre shifting that it will do sometimes, like is like some, it has these like insane action sequences, like ridiculous gunfights, and then there are like there's these psychological horror aspects of it. It has elements of a psychological thriller, and like I almost want to say main villain, but like who even is that? Because like there's the one the quirky government guy, but like the main demi-human antagonist who, like it's like, is he going to be our main character's salvation, or is he going and then like he turns out he's like super evil.
Mm-hmm.
Like what an electric and dynamic character, so memorable. The thoughts on like empathy and how you treat people, and the conceptual horror of immortality, like there's just a lot to it. It conveyed it in a really like cohesive way.
Yeah, I really liked Ajin as well, for all those same reasons. Good seinen, and that was one of the earlier ones. So it was, that we did this year. So it was a very intense way to kick off the year, but a good way to do it. All right, so that is all of our number 3 picks. Going into the number 2 pick, my number 2 is Go Go Loser Ranger. Yes.
Sam is a huge fan of the cum arc of our podcast. So this is
Yep.
not a surprise to anyone.
We all love the cum arc.
Okay, it was funny when they got to the cum fight in Loser Ranger, and then the fact that it just kept happening. We didn't plan for it. Just dicks and cum kept coming up. I had to use that damn cyberpunk meme so many times.
Because there was no other non X-rated explanation for that. There was none.
It was a very intense release schedule. Tell us why Go Go Loser Ranger is good, Sam.
Okay, I am always a fan of characters that need to be more creative in how they overcome impossible odds. So, our main hero being, a putty, just a random goon that the Sentai squad fights. He's designed to get the shit beat out of him, every day. Him needing to work so hard, like create connections with people who would otherwise be his enemies, and just get really creative and really grit his teeth to overcome the frankly terrifying forces arrayed before him. I really enjoyed it. You want to root for the underdog, and there's no more underdog than the random
bad guy minion,
than an NPC like level 1 Goomba, literally designed to be crushed. So yeah, that's my reasoning for Loser Ranger.
Yeah, it's almost like someone saw Garo from One Punch Man and was like, that's a really cool backstory. But what if it was from a Power Rangers villain instead?
You're not wrong.
Why do the monsters always have to lose?
Though I will say, one of the things I really, really loved about Go Go Loser Ranger is I loved how they were able to effectively create a non-human perspective for the main character. The fact that he feels very genuinely inhuman in his logic and yet is still logically consistent, I thought was one of the more memorable aspects of it. Honestly, I almost put it on my list. I was going to have it as an honorable mention, but here we are already talking about it. It deserves a medal. Deserves to be on the podium there. Honestly, the only real issue that I had with Go Go Loser Ranger all the way down is it's a very surface level and petty issue, is that it didn't feel like a Sentai. It felt like a shonen, which is my personal favorite genre. So it's like boilerplate. Instead of being the genre it promised me, it was a genre I like. It didn't feel like the love letter to Sentai I felt like it was trying to be, but that's such a minor complaint for an otherwise absolutely excellent series. We should do more at Go Go Loser Ranger.
We absolutely should. We might even fight Cum Scythe Guy again.
Please.
I hope not, though.
a second cum arc for the manga. Come harder.
Please, no. We already have to get through 100 girlfriends in February. That's enough.
True.
Oh, God. You're right. We are coming up on that.
Anything for our listeners, because we love them so much.
Indeed.
After we just mocked them for their terrible
Yeah, we're making it up to them.
Yeah. All right. Matt, what was your number 2 pick?
My number 2 pick was one of our Halloween episodes. I picked PTSD Radio, which I think I was kind of alone and really loving this. But I will double back. This hit an exact niche for me that I really loved, the feeling of dread that is just kind of oppressively throughout it. And looking back, that feeling still kind of stuck with me. So I would be remiss if this didn't make my top 3.
Yeah.
It was unique and interesting, and I really enjoyed it.
One thing that I think is worth noting from my perspective, I also really loved PTSD Radio. I was also horribly sick when we recorded that episode and when I was reading it. Like
that's not PTSD Radio's fault, but bad association.
Yeah, so it's like, honestly, I'd love to do like next year another round of that for Halloween, make that a Halloween staple, because like, oh man, honestly, manga almost never actually scares me. Because it's sequential art, because you have absolute control over the pacing of it, it gives me a feeling of control that makes it very hard for a series to actually genuinely unnerve me. But PTSD Radio was so unpredictable in the way that it structured its storytelling that it kind of stripped that layer of defense away from me.
Chapters would be like random page lengths too, so you were never sure if you were like ending it.
You were never sure if a stinger was right before the horrible thing happened, or it was the horrible thing, or the horrible thing would happen 5 chapters later out of fucking nowhere, connected to another completely different chapter. You have no idea why it genuinely mind-bending. And also that combined with me being sick meant I don't remember anything that happened at all. But I know it was scary, and normally manga doesn't scare me.
Yeah, I really enjoyed PTSD Radio. It was, I've got a similar feeling to it that you have towards Loser Ranger Jake, where it's like, Loser Ranger isn't the seinen. PTSD Radio has the barest amount of actual like radio aesthetic to it. As the radio man, I was a little disappointed with that. But I can't really fault it for anything else. It was great.
It's like, that's not even really a flaw. That's just a reason I don't love it as much as it deserves kind of thing.
Exactly.
I'm gonna call you two out on every misunderstanding you could have from a manga's title from now on. Seriously.
You know what? We clearly deserve it. Jay, what was your number 2 pick?
Sure. Mine is the highly acclaimed Apothecary Diaries.
Hell yeah.
I can't help but be able to see a bit of myself in Mao Mao, just her curiosity while also being a know-it-all. Just with everything. She is the reason I really feel like the entire palace is not like blown up into flames right now. But no one will ever know it because she's just that great. Also, just the highly anticipated romantic tension between Jinji. Will they, won't they? What will be his secret? We know he's gonna have one. It's gonna be like insane, but yeah, the tension, it captured me. I want to read more.
I don't know what it is. I thought about actually putting it on my list, but the situation was very much that it's like, as I was looking through the list and as we were talking about like doing this episode, it's like, oh yeah, Apothecary Diaries exists. I don't know why it's not more memorable in my mind, because god damn, Mao Mao is one of the best characters I've ever seen in anything. I love Mao Mao so much.
She's a vibe.
She is a vibe. She is a mood. She is all of the things.
She is the moment.
She is the moment.
Has no problem with not only schooling someone, but calling you stupid.
The only reason she won't directly say it to your face is because court etiquette demands otherwise. She will find a different way to say it.
The message is still received. And even in some instances, though, it's kind of like, wow, you really just said that about whatever courtesan or whatever. And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, no, she most of the time doesn't even care about court etiquette. It's only if the court etiquette would execution, and then she won't do it. It's like the one thing that she won't do. I don't know. I really want to read more of Apothecary Diaries. I want to watch the anime. I don't know why I never get around to it.
Yeah.
I don't know why it slips my mind.
Too many things to read, not enough time.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. And Jacob, what was your number 2?
Oh, well, the whole there were slim pickings. It was hard to like fill out the doesn't mean that there weren't things that I absolutely fucking loved. My god, I love Hajime no Ippo. It's, like there's the recency aspect of it, but like I just love it so much. I made the joke in the episode about how boy, I have the anime already queued up for watching later. Holy crap, I actually watched the anime of something that I wanted to after we read the manga. Not much, mind you. I've only gotten like through an episode and a half, but still, I actually did the thing. It's so rare.
The anime is pretty good, ain't it, Jacob?
It really is.
That anime has so many seasons. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. So, man, it's just, it is one of those ones where it's like, it almost feels reductive to talk about why it's good, because it's not doing anything new. It's not doing anything innovative. It's not rocking the boat, as it were. In fact, it's almost new and different because it doesn't shake things up and do something different, like with the first rival not being a jerk or whatever. Like that's a variant that's so abused it's become the standard. It's just excellent craft in my absolute favorite genre. I freaking love it. I'm so happy that I finally got to this absolute classic.
Hell yeah, brother. I really enjoyed Ippo as well. The pacing of the fights is well done. It toes a fine line of like, the manga medium allows you to basically take something like that as a blow by blow, a turn-based battle, and it does a really good job of explaining, the mechanics of the fight, why such and such is happening, making all the like punches and motions really dynamic. And also, Ippo is just such a lovable little dunce. He's great.
I mean, name the bad character. When they make the freaking generic bullies like have an honor code and be at least vaguely respectable. I'm actually really interested to see what's going to happen when they get some capital V villains in there. That'll be interesting.
I mean, you got to do a lot to become a professional boxer,
including probably crime.
Also, at some point, they allow Americans to box.
The greatest villains of all. This was made in the 80s, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, with that is the end of our second picks. So we're going to take a quick break and come back with each of our top picks for 2024.
Hell yeah.
Go ahead. Grab you something bubbly. Get a firecracker.
Don't set it off indoors.
Definitely don't set it off on your car on the way to work today.
Yeah.
Also, put that champagne down. What are you doing?
You can't be doing that.
Sir, you're in a school zone.
We need to stop encouraging our listeners to do bad things in cars.
Where else are they going to listen to our podcast?
That's like such a great place to do bad things in. Cars gives you so many opportunities for terrible, terrible things.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, it's not the drunk drivers, it's the drunk crashers that are the problem.
True.
As always, the OverMangaCast doesn't celebrate losers.
We'll be right back. And welcome back to the show, folks. We are done with the number 3 and 2 picks, but before we get into number 1, how about we do some quick honorable mentions for stuff that we enjoyed this year. I'm actually going to start my honorable mentions off with something that I just could not justify putting it in the top 3, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Undead Unluck.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I was sort of in the same place with
I can't deny that it was like it has an interesting concept.
Very memorable.
Very memorable concept, very fun character motivations. I love how every time there is any little bit of like world building brought out, it treats the most mundane things like mind-blowing revelations that just pile more questions onto the world. What do you mean sex was created when they failed a quest and a punishment was unleashed on the world?
Mm-hmm.
Who is the negator with the unsex power?
I think Undead Unluck falls into a category of things that I thought were just okay, but I loved recording the episode for.
Yeah. And just
Haven't we been told that it gets so much better that like we stopped right before it really hit its stride?
We have been told by multiple of you, don't worry. You made your opinions clear.
And the thing about Undead Unluck is I totally see how that could be the case. Like there is so much there. It's like if we just happened to stop right before it found its footing, then that's a totally believable thing from my perspective, because it was cool. It was weird and incoherent, but it was cool.
I don't know, kind of segueing on that with things that I thought were just okay, but loved recording the episode for. My honorable mention is Blue Box.
Good choice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't know, you don't know. Go listen to that episode.
Yeah, the sports manga with no sports in it.
Sports ball? They played the sports ball.
Yeah, I felt a little lied to.
Not a single sport to be found. It's just a romance manga.
With a sport theme, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of.
It's okay. Bro Natsu really carried me through that recording.
we love Bro Natsu.
The more we think about it, the more it just does not make sense.
Speaking of things that weren't what I wanted them to be, my other honorable mention I'm going to have to give out to My Girlfriend Gives Me Goosebumps.
That was another really fun episode to record.
Yes, I understand it completely.
Well, 2 episodes, technically.
Yeah.
I loved the excitement we had going off the first episode, realizing this series had gotten canceled. And there was only like 5 more chapters to read to do the entire thing. And that chapter that was the final one had released the day we had recorded the first episode. So we quickly got together and did like a little mini episode, and it just went off in a direction. All right.
It sure did happen. God, was that just narrative blueballing the manga?
Kind of.
Kind of. I feel like there are those out there that might be worse.
Probably.
We will find them.
Inevitably, we will find them. Yeah, that one was also on my honorable mentions list. Actually, another one for that in the it's just okay, but I had a blast recording it. My Wife Has No Emotion.
Oh my god.
Our recording of that was so much better than the actual manga.
Otherwise known as My Wife Has Plenty of Emotions. She's just autistic. Otherwise known
Robot fucker
warranty.
That is an earworm that will just randomly enter my brain. You should have bought the robot fucker warranty.
I only feel like we're going to use that more in the coming years.
Jay, what was your do you have any honorable mentions?
I have several, actually. Honorable mentions, you'll sense a theme here. The first being Blue Lock.
Mm.
For obvious reasons.
Not surprising.
I couldn't suggest Blue Lock I still read past where we are.
I'm just saying, it has a purpose, it satisfies that purpose, and that is all. But the intellectual part of me wants to say it is not my top 3. I also have, for an honorable mention, and this one, it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, but I have to give it to Kaiju number 8. I just really love this manga because it literally combines, for me at least, like 2 or 3 genres that I really just love. And so it's kind of like, I don't know, I haven't felt this way about a manga in so long. I just can't put it down.
Jay, just a qualifying question. Are all 3 of these going to be hot men thirst traps, or?
I told you there was going to be a theme here.
Yeah, as for Kaiju number 8 and me, the only reason I didn't even really cast is because I had already loved it before this year. We continued reading and it was more of the same. Not for nothing, much as I absolutely freaking adore this series, I don't know how we're going to keep doing episodes on it unless it does something crazy, because I feel like our last episode was just us talking about, and then that happened and it was really good. Anyway,
Yep.
it's not on the list for lack of quality, that's for sure.
Yes, that's true. If I may, I have one honorable mention, but not for the reasons that I could really say. So at first, this might come off as a surprise to people if you listen back to the episode. But I'm gonna give it to Dungeon Meshi, an honorable mention. Not just because it is literally like, what did we theme it? Like a cooking anime genre or cooking manga kind of adjacent, but just the way they very, very skillfully, and I don't even know if skillfully is the right way to describe this, but like some stories where you feel like, okay, they're trying to like create a villain. This just slaps you in the face with it.
Yep.
I'm just like, how can you hate your character this much?
That poor elf.
Even I'm saying that poor elf.
And this is Grandpa over here.
I've heard the anime doubles down on it too, which
it does, and I'm just like, how? This is like really early on in the series, because well, I think this is the one we got yelled at because apparently it switches or something.
Yeah, the genre changes abruptly, apparently.
Yeah, but regardless, the
we
fact
didn't
that
get yelled at, someone commented that. Not everything is a direct attack on you.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
What
it
are you
is.
talking about?
This is the internet. Yeah, so that I will give an honorable mention because that was simply hilarious to me.
Yeah, I was really close to putting Dungeon Meshi on my top 3 list because I love doing the episode. I love seeing like the impact it's had on the culture. I've just not gotten around to like consuming more of it than what we read, and I probably should. I've already been spoiled on a bunch of shit.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's like it didn't vibe with me. Like that I feel like is so much of the stuff we read this year is like, it's not that we read a parade of crap, it's that, boy, this is good, I just don't vibe with it. And Dungeon Meshi is honestly at one of the top of the list for me where that's concerned.
I vibed with it so much, and yet I just have not continued. It's like you with Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh man,
Oh.
Sam, you should get around to reading Full Metal Alchemist.
I agree. I think you'd like it.
Jacob, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I got a couple. I wanted to shout out Oshino because, like, holy crap. The most recent reading that we did of that was insane.
That was... There was a reason that we had to do back-to-back episodes on that one.
Jacob, if you loved Oshinoko being insane, man, did Twitter spoil something for me. Excited.
Oh boy. Wonderful. Another one that I think it's maybe just not my genre, but like it was very memorable for me was Burn the House Down. It had some really strong characters, so
yeah, that one I considered it for the list, but then it's just like I don't know. It didn't feel like it had as potent of an impact on me as it could have.
I guess it depends on what kind of things you like to read, because I mean, the reason, and I wanted to kind of also I would also give this an honorable mention just because, well, I spoiled it for myself and I already knew it was like a drama, which I like watching. So
Wait, Jay, are you saying that based on our reading, we wouldn't have known it was a drama?
yeah.
It was basically a spy novel for a while there, which I like spy novels. But
It's functionally a soap
whodunit.
opera.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's functionally a whodunit mixed with a soap opera, and it was really good, and it was very memorable. Like that, honestly, to a large extent, was kind of the problem with a lot of them for me. It's like, yeah, that was good, and then it like leaves my mind. Burn the House Down stuck with me for pretty much till, you know, all the way till making the list. So it was one of the first things I put down, but it kind of got kicked off of the list by the things I actually selected pretty quickly. Definitely a good series though, and honestly I'd love to do more. And then I got 2 one-shots, and it's like they're good, but the fact that they're one-shots means that they've only got so much to them to really latch onto. Girls' locker room. I mean locker room. I mean just locker room. Just locker room.
God damn it, Jacob.
Jacob, that was a different manga you read by mistake.
No. I do mean actual.
We can't keep him away from the Yuri.
Jokes aside, it was a cool horror story. I enjoyed it, and it's one of those ones that makes you think, both in the sense of wouldn't that be horrifying, but also how would I use the thing, you know? And it's a fun little, you know, brain activity. And then the other one shot that I liked, I liked Sandland. It was cute, it was fun, it was small, and it didn't overstay its welcome because it was a one shot.
And it oozed Toriyama just whimsy.
It was honestly a lot of the best parts of Toriyama as an author without a lot of his flaws, largely because it was so short and didn't have time for him to develop into his bad habits. So I enjoy it. It's one of those ones where it's like I probably am not gonna read it again. But it's a fun world to think about, and I enjoyed the time I spent with it. And then one last honorable mention that I literally, it was as we were recording this episode, I realized I had to shout out, and this is I loved recording the episode so much, almost more than I enjoyed the manga itself, more than a couple less than lovers.
Oh God,
that was so bonkers.
That episode was insane, and I loved it.
That was that episode falls into a category of episode where we put something on the reading list because Jay suggested it. And then once we get to the episode, we find out that Jay knew nothing about the series and it was not very good.
Jay, nothing he just said was incorrect. That was a really fun though.
Yeah, that was a very fun one.
If I just wish at any point in the selection process we would have been told that the school assigns points for how hard you make out with your class assigned wife.
Your government assigned GF.
I literally just thought it would be fun, okay? I did not.
It was in fact fun.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm being attacked.
Again, every comment is not an attack. And I think finally, to cap off our honorable mentions, we have a very special honorable mention because frankly, without this series, we wouldn't be the podcast we are today. And it really opened our eyes to just how we should look at manga and how we should rank it. And with that, really to just know how good a manga is, you've just got to look at no other than Kagurabachi. Because seriously, if it can be better than that, it must be readable.
You need to know what
Let me change my number one pick.
You need to know what the worst conceivable thing is before you can know what good is.
But Mom, I love black trench coats and katanas.
So to anybody who's actually going to listen, say I do point out that this is a bit, but I mean, not for nothing. I kind of want to read more Kagurabachi, not just because of
the bit.
the thing that the thing that has allowed this podcast to grow so much. But in all honesty, I genuinely want to see which side of the coin Kagurabachi is going to fall on, because it has the full potential to either be exactly as good as people say it is someday, or exactly as bad as the bit implies it is, and anywhere in between. And I'm very curious.
So Jacob, I do got to be honest here. You're saying this is purely a bit, but for something to be collectively remembered by us as the most mid thing possible, in the same year we read the Hashira training arc of Demon Slayer.
You know, that is a fair point.
That Kagurabachi made me forget how bad the Hashira training arc was.
And oh my god, the Hashira training arc was so boring.
We have more Demon Slayer to read. And at this point, we're just doing it out of obligation at this point.
Sure
See,
feels
why
like
do the Demon Slayer stands not come after us?
Because they know.
You're right.
I think it's because we caveat every single episode with saying, yeah, no, the anime really saves this from being trash.
Yeah, people know.
Ufotable going as hard as possible on the anime is the thing that keeps people watching.
Oh.
Does that count as a shout out too?
I guess.
I guess the honorable mention is the Demon Slayer anime. Although I saw Jay watching the Hashira training arc, and it didn't look like the anime was much better.
There's only so much you can do to Sakuga up that particular segment.
They also might be just riding the momentum at this point.
Oh yeah, they are riding a wave indeed.
That felt very lewd. We're gonna move on.
No. We're not in the cum arc anymore. I swear.
Oh,
Guys, we really need to hold to our New Year's resolution of not mentioning cum. We really failed already. It's day 2 of the new year, and we've already failed.
Listen, man.
That's standard for New Year's resolutions. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so let's get into the actual number 1 picks of this top something list. If I wasn't trying to do things that were new this year that we've read, I would have said Eagle, the Making of an Asian American President, because goddamn it, I loved our reading of that this year.
What a patriot.
I was so close to picking that, but I had to hold back because I loved Planet Texas too much. But Planet Texas did come back in this reading, so...
Planet Texas came back in the reading. We had the Clintons.
But totally not the Clintons. Clintons, yes.
Hillary Clinton being... Speaking of things that were fun to record, Hillary Clinton being a villain.
Being as evil as that.
Talking about how erotically bestial politics is and how much it turns her on. God. That episode is insane. But no, actually going with things new that we've read this year, Ajin. Ajin is my number 1. I fucking loved that reading.
That makes sense.
I am not surprised.
Yeah, it hit my Dark Souls brain right in like dead center. It like tickled my interest in like cosmic horror, even though there's nothing like the most cosmic thing about it is like the meditations on death. There's no like Cthulhu monsters or anything that we've seen. But,
I could see it going that way.
But just like cosmic horror is more than just big slimy tentacled things. It's a force greater than you.
Well, it's cosmic, right?
Yeah. And, you know, being barred from death is, in a way, like, existentially terrifying. And I love that so much. So yeah, Ajin is my number one pick. We already talked about it a bit for Jake's picks earlier, so we'll move on. Matt, what was your number one?
So, hear me out. This is going to be mildly controversial.
Oh no.
Okay.
My number one pick, and don't go back and listen to the episode and use my words against me. My number one pick is Pseudo Harem. It was, cute nonsense. It was a nice slice of comedy. I don't know. It hit a vibe of just cute nonsense, and I really enjoyed it.
I'm surprised, but I can't
I'm not gonna disagree with you.
I'm not gonna disagree with you.
It felt like it filled a void that Kaguya-sama would have had.
Mm-hmm.
And the gimmick of her portraying a bunch of different characters was enough to really sell that it wasn't just a ripoff of like that entire genre of manga that exists now. Because in case I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but I really love Kaguya-sama and Teasing Master Tatagi-san and Don't Bully Me Nagatoro-san, which is all just a similar vibe. And I don't know. This was just interesting and it was fun. I really liked it.
You know what? Good pick.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun reading that one too. Again, I feel like I feel like to a large degree, it's one of those ones where it's like it doesn't linger in my mind, and it's entirely because it's slice of life, and that's the only reason why. Because it's like, man, I loved reading it. I'd read more. I'd do another episode.
Jacob, it's because we read My Wife Has No Emotions immediately after that.
That'll do it. Yup, that'll do it. Oh yeah, no, because not for nothing, I loved the chick who was doing all the different personalities. Like, what a fun character that is.
Yeah, it was a unique twist on a kind of getting tired genre, so I really appreciated it.
Indeed, very enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, what was your number one pick?
So not a newbie, but I had to. Golden Kamui.
Ooh, we did have a great...
We did some good Golden Kamui stuff.
This was a good section of Golden Kamui.
I literally was just the end of the latest arc that we read. My mind exploded. There was a moment of like, what? This is happening right now. I thought I was literally, those who were familiar, I thought I was watching a JoJo's episode, which like my co-host Sam knows. I can be 100% paying attention and I still don't know what the heck I'm watching.
I was unprepared for the murder mystery in an abandoned cabin to turn into Three Bears Attack, turn into let's shoot a Gatling gun off a Model T car at bears.
To a homosexual lover's tryst. To what?
Which ends in both of the homosexual lovers dying to avenge each other, and the final bear is taken down with a rebar to the butthole.
I'm like, what is this?
And that's not even addressing the fact that what came immediately before that was freaking Psycho.
Yeah,
like, can we just address the fact that
Psycho?
Can we just address the fact that all of that is true? And also, that was the same section that had the Psycho reference.
Oh my god, I forgot that was the same reading as the Murder Hotel.
Yes. Yes.
Oh god,
that was a jam-packed reading.
That was.
I don't regret it at all.
Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't do a dishonorable mention for the Golden Kamui movie we watched.
Yes, I have to second that. Yes, I wish I could unsee that. I legitimately wish I could unsee that.
I know we say that about every No Read November thing we watch.
But just like the Golden Kamui movie felt like
it was no Full Metal Alchemist live action. I'll tell you that.
Look, it was no Dragon Ball: The Magic Begins.
That's my number one. What are you talking about?
I killed all the momentum. Oh
Listen, nothing has made me want my time back quite as much as the Golden Kamuy live action.
That was honestly probably the most ad that we've ever seen one of those live action, which almost all of them are just ads.
Yep. I at least had fun hating Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist was at least trying to tell a story. Golden Kamuy, we just wanted to make live action clips for YouTube shorts.
Yep.
It did succeed in that, to be fair.
It did.
Unless you like Ratar as a character, then you have one clip from the entire movie.
The same clip for both scenes he was in. Go listen to No Read November. There's some of our best episodes.
Yeah, the No Read November this year was banger. All right, and Jacob, your favorite manga of the year.
You know how I said manga, generally speaking, doesn't scare me?
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap, Monster scared me.
Yeah. Monster was good. I kind of regret not putting it on my list. I was very tempted to slap it in there.
Monster was another one of the series that would have been on my list if I hadn't already read it.
Like, man, just like the depiction of the main villain, literally the devil. Like, and to me, honestly, the thing that sold me on Monster and the reason why it lingers in my mind endlessly is funnily something that it can't really pull again, or at least I don't expect it to be able to pull again. But like early on in the series, where the main character is like, man, I wish those guys I hate were dead. That was uncalled for of me. Well, anyway, I hope, kid, that you survive. And then all of his enemies spontaneously die, and it's from his perspective, so you don't get to see what actually happened. It feels like he had made a Faustian bargain. Like, it feels like magic had just happened, and it puts you in the character's mind so thoroughly.
Mm-hmm.
You are stuck in his perspective, trying to reconcile, is this really happening? I mean, not for nothing, as someone who, I'm sure I have some kind of superstition. There are always the little you don't that you do, but like when it comes to like I don't believe in ghosts, I don't believe in the supernatural, but so it's like that sort of mindset isn't something that I'm particularly used to. But because it's a manga, it could be magic. There could be an actual magical monster doing things. So, like, having to experience that sort of dread of, did I just summon Satan himself? Like, what is, it's like all of the different directions. Like, is it magic? Is it a monster? Is it the devil himself? It turns out it's metaphorically the devil himself. That is ultimately what it comes down on. But wow, that mundane explanation doesn't make it any less terrifying. That.
No, it does not.
And then just, what a great thriller from just a raw mechanical perspective. I love the sister, it's like she's learning martial arts. She's going to fight somebody at some point. They're seeding this for her to beat somebody up so that one of the other characters doesn't die. And that happened almost immediately afterward. And I felt clever for seeing that coming, even though it's obvious.
Yeah, that's good setup and payoff right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that, we close out another year. Thank you so much, everybody, once again, for listening to our nonsense for another revolution around the sun. Unless for some reason this is your first episode listening to us, in which case we've got 4 years worth of backloaded content for you to go listen to. Do that. It's good.
It's just as unhinged as what you just experienced. I'm so sorry.
I'm not. It's fun. But yep, you can find us on all of your social medias where we are at OverMangaCast.
You can also find us on YouTube where you can like, comment, and subscribe. The episodes go up there on a 2-week delay, so if you want our up-to-date stuff, you can head over to overmangacast.com. And that also has a place where you can leave comments, give us recommendations for stuff we can read in the new year. Tell us what you think of the episodes. Tell us what your favorites were for this year.
And like I said at the beginning of the episode, we appreciate reviews in any and all forms. So go ahead, drop us a review, give us a nice little New Year's bonus. I don't know how this works. Do whatever you want. But
5 stars and $5 for Jay.
and in the spirit of giving Jay exactly what she wants, even though she might not have read the manga. Sam, what are we reading next week?
Ane Narumono, the elder sister-like one. Chapters 1 through 13 and a half.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
boy.
This is talking about elder sisters and has a 0.5 chapter. Jay, I don't like where this is going.
Giggity.
Oh, no.
Jay, stop trying to make Sis Confidential happen.
Never.
We'll see you all next Thursday. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, you losers.
Save us.
Oh, please, just let this year get over already.